The pain in my back would get so bad at times, I'd go to the doctors for painkillers, anti-inflammatories, but it would only ever be a short-term fix. It would just be masking the underlying problems.
Most of the things that cause people back pain is the habitual things that we do wrong again and again and again.
I'd have days where the back would seize overnight for no apparent reason. I'd wake up in the morning and it'd take me literally 20 minutes to roll out of bed.
There's a name for it. It's called cumulative microtrauma. It just means doing a small thing wrong lots of times.
I went to the doctors thinking the only cure would be an operation, and he recommended before we go along those lines or look at that possibility, go to Mark, the physio, and see what he can do.
How have things been going this week, Paul?
Good, thank you. I've been doing quite a bit of gardening this week. The only side effects I've had is a bit of stiffness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what we'll do in a moment is I'll get you to take your shoes and your shirt off. Predominantly, Paul had been misusing his back for a long period of time. Okay. What I'd like you to do first of all is just run your left hand down your left leg, go as far as you can. He'd been lifting incorrectly. He'd been putting weight down through one side of his body, not distributing his load evenly. Any pain or stiffness with that?
The job I had was quite manual and included carrying heavy weights, flour sacks on one shoulder. Mark, the physio, seems to pinpoint it back to that originally.
Go to the right side, go all the way over and come back towards me. He hadn't been using his hips well, so he'd been overusing his back. There was a degree of weakness, but mostly it was just poor habits.
Before I started the treatment, I'd got to the stage where long-haul aeroplane trips were a nightmare. If I'd sit in a seat for anything over an hour, I'd be in severe pain. Car journeys became a problem too. If we were going away, I'd arrive somewhere on holiday in pain from the car journey, so it would make sleeping at night very difficult.
What's happened recently? I bet you haven't been on your Swiss ball very much recently.
Not in the last week or so, I haven't, no.
The Swiss ball is really helpful for helping us to feel when we're in the middle. And what's happened is you've started just to shift back a little bit over to the left, particularly when you're sitting.
Right.
Okay. I did some hands-on therapy to release some tight muscles. Feel that point there, Paul?
Yes.
When the discomfort eases off or the pain eases off when I'm pushing on the trigger point, that means the trigger point's releasing. Is that feeling better now, Paul?
Yes, that's
Good.
easy off.
When people are in a lot of pain, you can reduce their pain significantly with hands-on work. But as their pain continues to reduce, the emphasis shifts from hands-on therapy to education. If the tape's on your back there, if you can bend forward like this and get in and out of a chair without pulling the tape, then you must be doing that movement at your hips. Can you see that?
Yes. He actually pinpointed what I was doing wrong in day-to-day life. A bad posture, I was lifting incorrectly, I was sitting incorrectly, I was getting in and out of chairs. There was a lot I was doing wrong.
Let your hips go right back as you come down, that's it. Let your knees bend, that's it. Good, yeah, not bad, no pulling the tape, so that's actually pretty good. So standing up again. All right, so that we know that you can move in and out of a chair without bending your back.
Okay, do the partition again. I can feel myself getting better, you know, each week. We pick up on something new. Mark teaches me so much more, and I implement that in my day-to-day lifestyle. And, you know, looking back to how I was 3 weeks ago to 6 weeks to 9 weeks ago, I can see huge improvements each time.
What I want you to do is imagine there's a table on your left side about that high. What I'm going to get you to do is twist around and pick up that box. The more education they have, the less they're hurting themselves. The less they're hurting themselves, the less pain they're in, therefore the less manual therapy they need. Paul, just stop there for a moment. Do you feel anything in your back?
I feel a tightening through the back.
And as time goes on and they learn to do things better and better, they get out of pain completely and they can do things that they could never do before without pain because they're doing them correctly rather than incorrectly. Feel how the neck will twist quite easily? Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the bottom of the spine, give the low back a twist. Is that built for twisting, Paul?
It's not, no.
What's happening when you twist around like that, the reason you feel strain is you're forcing your low back to twist.
Not only has he's taught me, he's explained why these things are important on the way, and has given me a far greater understanding of what's going on and what I'm doing wrong. And with that knowledge, I can also pinpoint other issues, you know, that I talk to him about, and we build on it together. Bushwalking now, it's a real pleasure again. a good way to exercise. I'm back to gardening, back to walking. I've not started indoor cricket again yet, but that will be the next step. For the first time, I'm not in constant pain.
As long as he keeps doing what he's currently doing, he'll continue to get the result that he's currently getting. If he goes back to doing what he used to do, he'll get the result that he used to get.
It's been the best thing, that's happened to me medically, because it's given me so much back.